tonight on the chill stream. I made it back from Cook Island, and I am so happy to be back in the United States. 2024, starting off with a bang for me. A lot of good things, a lot of positive things happening. We got a lot to talk about. We got videos. We've got all sorts of news. Everything you've come to expect from the Monday Night Chillstream back in the USSA, and glad to be here. See you guys in 2 minutes. And we are back. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Monday Night Chillstream. I have made it back successfully from England, which is a green and pleasant land. At least the parks are green and pleasant. Weather was pretty mild over there. I didn't manage to get arrested or do anything. I didn't get thrown underneath the prison in Windsor Castle or wherever they got their prisons. Got to see what I wanted to see and go around the city a little bit. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself, even though I couldn't wait to get home. Anyway, for everybody watching now, everybody going to watch in the future, make sure nothing, it's 2024 and you have to ask yourself, have you smashed up the like button yet? It's 2024. We're in the second month. It's Monday, February 5th, 2024. And man, I obviously have a ton of stuff to talk about. I've been traveling again. It's really only my second vacation in my lifetime. So I'm still learning stuff about this. I made some mistakes. The timing of the flight, I got to London way too early. Like 7 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't check into my hotel until 4 in the afternoon. There was some, listen, there's always some wrinkles, a small kerfuffle, nothing quite goes the way I plan it, although I really don't plan it that well. So I can't complain that it doesn't go my way. Doesn't go exactly the way I expect it to go, but I had fun. I liked London. I don't think I ever need to go back. It was spendy. It was it was pricey. And I didn't think that I was really getting terribly good value for my money, but nonetheless, I did the thing. I went and did the thing that I wanted to do. And then I learned some stuff I didn't expect to learn, and I saw a bunch of stuff that was interesting to me. I saw stuff that was interesting to me. So where are we? What are we going to do? What should we do? Man, I got so much stuff. Got so much stuff to talk about. Even on the domestic front. On the domestic front, I came back, found out I was on. It's weird. I got back Tuesday. By the way, I'm allowed to say this now because I've been to London. There are a number of things I can say and do that I could not really do before. I can say Tuesday, not Tuesday, but CHEWS, Tuesday, in it. I can say where to gov. I can call people wankers. There's a number of sophisticated UK sayings that I can use. Also, whenever I drink anything, I can keep my pinky in the air now because I've been to London and I have seen, I've seen London up close, ridden the tube, which was a little confusing, and then ridden the buses, which was kind of cool. Went down, where did I go? I went down Baker Street where Sherlock Holmes used to live. It doesn't look quite as cool as you think. It's kind of strip mall-y, but some of the stuff, the side streets are look the way you would expect. But one thing, like one of the first things I noticed as we landed, I'm trying to think, like as the flight out was not terrible. Oh fucking no, Jesus Christ! Jews in the plane, Jews in the fucking plane. This part of this London thing has made me think I need to go on vacation to Islamic countries. I need to go to places where the chosen people don't like to go. On the flight out from Newark, the plane is only like half empty. It's like half empty. There's so many empty seats. So United was like it's such a letdown from Emirates. So you don't get to pick your seat. You don't get to have a carry-on. You have to have you don't get to have a check bag, only a carry-on. So I wasn't sure the size of my little suitcase would fit. So I have like from 100 years ago, a nylon bag that I got from smoking Marlboro cigarettes in the 90s that I just kept with me. So I took that as my carry-on, knowing that I didn't pack it full, something like maybe 2/3 full, so I could squish it down at whatever. The little how big is your bag measurer. So anyway, so I did that, and United is. I flew out in United, really sucked. But the plane was, like I said, it was half empty, except there were a number of Chabad people on there. And as soon as the seatbelt light went off, one of these fucking dudes, he was like skinny, maybe like 5'6" ish, 5'7" ish, with blonde hair, starts walking up and down the fucking aisles of the plane. He's like walking up, like going up and back, up and back. And since the like I said, the plane is only half empty. There's entire rows, the 3 seats in the center. There's nobody there. There's 2, 3, 4 rows. There was nobody there. And this guy's walking. Now he's walking in between the fucking seats. He's walking all over the place. He's walking up and down, and I'm like, what the fuck is this crazy motherfucker doing? Right? And he's just with his fucking coat and his fucking hat, up and down he goes, up and down he goes. He gets a couple of other guys to start doing it with him. And I'm sitting there in the plane going, is this guy looking for the tunnels underneath the fucking airplane? Like, because I couldn't help but think of the Chabad tunnel thing. I'm like, is he looking for the escape tunnel underneath the airplane? And could I help him find it? Anyway, his buddies, and there was a lot of them on the plane, they all decide to move from their seats and have a meeting, like an impromptu meeting in the back of the section. They take up an entire row, and a bunch of them, they like to stand in the middle of the fucking aisle and read whatever they're reading. I don't know. I suppose it's the Torah or something like that. I don't know what they're actually reading. Virgil Doc, Purple Heart. Welcome home, James. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I am so glad to be back in the USA. So happy to have returned. But the flight out was nuts with these fucking yids walking like I don't mean just like casually walking. The guy's like maniacally walking up and down the fucking aisles, and then they had their meeting, and then they're standing in the fucking, like I said, they're standing there, they're just reading in the middle of the fucking aisle. Eventually, the lunatic walker guy, if you've been on an airplane, you know, like they separate the economy from the business class with just a curtain, right? There's not a door, there's a curtain there. And then they separate business class from first class with a curtain. This guy goes walking through the curtain. He goes walking into business class. And enough people must have complained that the pilot actually had to come on the intercom and explain that you're not allowed to pass the curtain. And so that kind of kept this dude locked into the economy section where the rest of us were. But the behavior these fucking people engage in, I'm like, I was like, they literally think they fucking own everything and they act like the rules don't apply to them. Was really, really educational, because I've seen them at the airport 1,000 times, but I didn't realize, I don't know why I thought, well, they'll behave themselves when they're on the airplane, and they barely do. They have to be forced into acting like human beings by the airline staff. So the flight out, we had a tailwind. We like I think we were doing like 650 miles an hour, like crazy fast. So we got there early. I got to London early, 7 o'clock ish, 7 o'clock in the morning. Couldn't check into my hotel until 4 in the afternoon. Really poor timing, poor logistics there. London Heathrow, if you've never been there, you have to walk like a ridiculous amount of distance through fucking terminal after terminal, and they have those like the flat escalators, those moving walkways. You might as well get on those, because it's a ridiculous amount of it's incredible how far you have to walk. But I got there, got a SIM card right away, had no problem with that, although I overpaid for the SIM card. You can't get a SIM card for less than 30 days. And my phone is too old. There's some kind of electronic, like you can just set it up on your phone. There's an eSIM card. I guess you download some app and it makes your phone run overseas, but my phone is too old. So I couldn't get that. But anyway, got there, got the SIM card in, had way better internet. The internet there was better than fucking here in the US, at least in London. But then I had an entire day to kill. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. So I said, well, I got some time, and I went, and the first place I ate was like a Tunisian place, just a breakfast. It was mostly a breakfast place, and it was run by Tunisians. First, I thought they were Turks, and then I realized they were Tunisians. The British drink Coca-Cola for breakfast. A bunch of them, they're just drinking Coca-Cola for breakfast, and I'm like, really? I thought there was all like place was like a small little looking neighborhood place. It certainly wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't no high end thing. And a lot of the guys in there eating were builders, construction dudes, what they call builders. What they call builders in the UK. And they were drinking Coca-Cola for breakfast. And I'm like, is that normal? And I just dismissed it at first. But then I saw it later on in other places. Like the Brits drinking Coca-Cola for breakfast. No wonder they have fucking problems. Although I looked at everybody's mouth, their teeth look good. You know what I mean? A lot of these people, their teeth look very good. However, the food was not. The food was like, British food is beige and bland, and they don't put fucking salt on anything. They don't even fucking put salt on things. So the food was largely a big letdown. Unless you went to some ethnic place, Turkish joint, Greek place, something like that, you were not going to find anything terribly good. And like I said, more than a bit overpriced. But that is London. The buses were cheap. Buses and the underground was like $1, $1 or $2. But what was it? What day was it? On Sunday, I decided to go for the classic. This was the classic thing. I went to this place called Poppy's. It turned out it was in Soho. I didn't know that. Soho is an incredibly gay part of London, but I was in Hyde Park, and I wanted to see the Speaker's Corner thing on Sunday, but I got there too early, and then I wasn't sure what to do, and I heard there was a tour guide near the Wellington Gate, which is a Wellington Arch, I should say, which is a lovely arch with a great bronze statue of a woman in a chariot. It's Nike. It's Victory, and she's charging forward. She's holding a crown of leaves in her hand. It's a spectacular statue. Don't have a picture of it because I couldn't get a good angle and whatever. But so this tour guide says, "Hey, everybody asks me about fish and chips, and you go to this place called Poppy's." So I Googled it and I decided to go there. This is what I got. That was like 25. That was 25 pounds. 25 pounds. I got that and a coffee. And the bill was like 25 pounds. And that piece of fish was like the size of my hand. It was cod. And then even the waitress says, "Oh, you should have got the fucking whatever the other kind of fish they have. I don't remember." But this is the area of Soho. I was taking like little short videos for my niece. One of my nieces was like, "Hey, where are you? What are you doing? What's going on?" So this is what Soho looks like in London. So that's the other surprising thing to me about London was how many tourists were there. The place was just packed full of tourists in January, and I'm like, what the fuck? I thought the city would be empty. You could see people holding up their phones and whatever. The knock that you might have read on the internet that they call London Londonistan is that's not far off. Probably, I would say at least 50% of the people I saw were brown or black. They were all super well behaved. Um, Everybody was polite. Everyone was. They do have that English thing where they're kind of embarrassed. They're all super embarrassed if you're in a tight quarters like in the tube or something like that. Everyone's like, "Oh, sorry, sorry, terribly sorry, 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 sorry." They're just so neurotic about the slightest little thing, a little brush, between people. If when you're packed in the subway, you're packed in the subway, but you would think that they would know that, but they're still it was still a bit neurotic and overly wound up about things like that. But that was Soho, which is very fun. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I was in Soho. I just Googled where this place was, hopped on the tube, went 3 stops, and got off there, and then walked uh, to that area. And the joint that I went to was just like a 1 or 2 blocks in, but everything was like super gay. There were rainbow flags everywhere, like rainbow banner flags, like little triangular rainbow banners, fucking everywhere in every fucking shop. And I'm like, how fucking gay is this place? Although I saw that not just in Soho, I saw it in a lot of other places. So like London, virtue signaling as hard as they possibly fucking can. That that they love gays, that they couldn't be more gay friendly or whatever. But so that was fish and chips way overrated. Although the pies were okay. I was in a pub and I had a pie which actually had salt in it. It looked nice. It was seasoned well, but yeah, again, overpriced. You know what I mean? And I didn't think it was great value for what I was paying. But whatever. I'm on vacation. I went to the British Museum. I did find. I did find the lost sister for the what's it, the Caratids from stolen from Athens. But yeah, there were. the number of tourists that were out in and around London was crazy. This is like, so there's like the Tower of London. Look how many, there's all these people were tourists. Everyone you see in that photo was tourists, like as far as you could see up the street. And if I were to turn the camera in the opposite direction, you would, there's the, whatever, the cathedral over there, and Whitehall was like behind us. The number of tourists was like crazy high. I just could not believe how many tourists. And I wouldn't think that many people would want to go to London in January, but I guess everybody, whatever, they want to go find the park or whatever. But so I did get into the city of London. I didn't take a whole lot of pictures there. I did take one particular picture, which I couldn't believe this street when I saw it, when the little like this app was called City Mapper. I was like trying to get to, where the fuck was I trying to get to? Like Whitehall or whatever. And was I trying to get to the Whitehall? Yeah, or the no, the Tower of London I was trying to get to, which I have some great Tower of London stuff. But this is a street, this is a real street inside the city of London. I don't know if you can see right alongside the frame of my glasses. It's reversed, unfortunately, but there's actually a street in London, in the city of London, which is not part of regular, that is called Jewry Street. Yes, Jewry, Jewry Street. And I'm like, I cannot fucking believe that. I thought that was absolutely hilarious, and I don't think there was anything funnier than that I saw. So let's where's my Tower of London video? I got Tower of London video. I got video of the Tower of London. Where is it? Here's 39 seconds when James as London tour guide explaining the Tower of London.
All right, everyone, in front of you is the Tower of London, built by William the Conqueror, who owed 40% of his income to Aaron of Lincolnshire. This is the building where they keep that really expensive hat that the king wears. And just to the left of it, you can see the Tower Bridge, which I will now walk across the Tower Bridge and hopefully do honor to that guy with the narwhal horn who fought off a terrorist here a few years back.
So yeah, I couldn't. There was sunlight was so weird. It actually that day. The sun came out like really strong, and when trying to make the video, I couldn't see what the camera was seeing or not. So then I walked over from there to the Tower Bridge, and you'll see the City of London, the Tower of London, and then a little bit of the Thames River.
All right, so I'm having a lovely day, out in London. It rained this morning. It's cold. It's windy. Where's the flag flapping up there? It's windy. It's cold. It's basically perfect weather for London, I suppose. But the sun's come out, and it's quite nice. Anyway, I'm going to continue exploring around. Those office towers surround the old City of London, which had the Royal Exchange and the London Stock Exchange, which are very nice marble-looking neoclassical buildings. I didn't film anything over there, but just trying to get here. It's very, like I said, it's not easy to get around. A lot of little windy streets, and I obviously have no idea where I'm going. And the software I'm using to move around the city is less than ideal. But we're going to make do. Anyway, talk to you guys later.
The other thing, to the City of London, I saw two police officers patrolling on horseback. One was a normal-sized horse, and one was a Clydesdale. It wasn't like an American-sized Clydesdale. If you know anything about horses, the Clydesdale horse is like it's like an elephant size. They're huge. This one wasn't quite that big. I don't know if the English Clydesdales are smaller than the American ones or whatever. And it was two female cops on top of on these horses, and they're walking clippity clop all around the city of London, which there are signposts that along every like street and alleyway, and they're like like a thick metal, I guess it's thick iron post. How thick? Like very thick. Maybe at the top it's like a foot around, and each one is painted black. It's black lacquer, and there's a seal with a shield and whatever, and it says City of London. So you know that if you walk on that side of the post, you're in the City of London. If you're on this side of the post, you're, I guess, in London. London for the commoners. But there are like a lot of little streets that seem to wind and come back on themselves. And I did, like I was technically lost, but I'm not really lost because there wasn't a whole lot I was doing. I'm looking to walk around and see what there is to see. Also, I'm not particularly trying to get here or there, although, I mean, I had a vague sort of itinerary in my mind, but the coolest thing was seeing how many neoclassical buildings there were. There was so much stuff that looked like Greece, that looked like Rome. You know what I mean? Like big, thick columns, and like the Royal Exchange looked like that, and the London Stock Exchange looked more modern. But I couldn't help but think of what can be built, what resources. If you have the resources, you can build extraordinary things. You can build gorgeous things that make people stop and stare, and I couldn't help but think of that as I walked around, particularly around the City of London, knowing that that is the spiritual home of all of the central bankers. There's no way around that. And I just thought, man, if the resources were redirected, instead of all the value going upwards to an unelected elite, you could distribute that more evenly. I think we could get some really, really cool stuff. But building, let's jump to what's his name, Andreas Antonopoulos, who talks talking about what it takes to do something great.
This is what we can build. This is proof of work. You cannot build this on the cheap. You cannot build this unless you can feed 20,000 people to not do anything but this. You cannot build this unless you can guard it with soldiers. You cannot build this unless you commit resources for decades or centuries. This cannot be built cheap. And the pyramids stand today as a testament, a proof of work for the Egyptian civilization. And anyone, without even understanding what this thing is, riding up in the desert on a camel, going over that hill, and seeing a stone monument that's a few hundred feet in the air, looks at that and goes, wow, because they immediately and intuitively understand something great built that. And there is no cheap way to do it.
So Andreas making the point that you cannot do greatness on the cheap, and that is most certainly true. Everyone cries that the modern world is like strip mall America. It's garbage. The food is garbage. You haven't been to England, trust me. American food is 10x better than English food, but if you want to build for eternity, like Andreas says, you're going to need 20,000 people whose only job is to build whatever it is, whatever monument or thing you want to build. 20,000 people have to be fed, housed. They got to have the skills to do stuff, and they have to dedicate their lives to it. And that has to be worth it to them. And having a pool of resources that large is outside the realm of conception for most people. Most people just basically want to fill their pockets. They just want to fill their bags and be and live a life of whatever sort of pleasures they think are worthwhile. Mostly people just want to be rich. And our favorite rich guy, where's my favorite rich guy? You remember this from a couple weeks ago, right? Tesla, SpaceX leaders concerned over Elon Musk's drug use. And I know what you're saying, but James, really, you're beating up on Elon Musk? Of course I'm beating up on Elon Musk. Here's a more recent story. Elon Musk's company directors feel an expectation to use drugs with him to avoid upsetting him. So if you don't get high with the world's richest junkie, he throws a fucking fit, right? So you gotta, I don't know, do you gotta snort some ketamine? Do you gotta take a tab of LSD during the fucking board of directors meeting? Like I imagine, I wonder what the slide presentation is like when the guy doing the slide presentation just dropped the fucking tab of acid. I can imagine how fucking wild that must be. But Elon Musk, I got some video of him explaining himself. You will understand now why. Where is it? Why Elon Musk is the richest man on earth.
I'm Jewish. Aspirationally Jewish. I grew up around a lot of Jewish people. I went to Hebrew preschool, Rachel Spiro in South Africa. My name is very Jewish.
I will tell you that for the past 10 years, people have assumed in my community that you were Jewish until I informed them otherwise.
Yeah.
Elon is a pretty Jewish name.
He's super Jewish.
Yeah.
And then I went to Israel when I was 13. Visited Masada. I'm certainly checking the boxes on a lot of things. Like you said, most of my friends are Jewish, just worked out that way. So sometimes I guess maybe I forget. Am I Jewish? I'm Jewish. Aspirationally Jewish.
So, Shabbos from birth. His parents set him up. His parents were obviously hip enough to understand who really runs things in Africa. They put him in a Jewish preschool. He went to Israel when he was 13 years old. Like what? So like some kind of bar mitzvah for Goy or something like that? All my friends just happen to be Jewish. Yeah, it's not an accident. Not an accident at all. But Elon, being an unstable drug addict, got himself kind of in trouble. You know what I mean? He got himself in trouble, and so he needs more money, right? He's very unhappy that the price of Tesla stock has plummeted, but he has pissed off his masters, right? And so, like when LeBron James said, "Oh, we're getting some of that good Jewish money," they smacked him down and said, "Listen, you got to do a book report on fucking Anne Frank or whatever." Elon Musk has to do more than that. Elon Musk, they actually made him go to Auschwitz and bring his kid. So he's, I don't know, well, you can see he's holding his small child on his shoulders, and he's sitting there being lectured about the 6 million and this and that, and you got to take this photo of you at Auschwitz Birkenau to try and atone for allowing offensive speech that the chosen people don't want heard because they matter and no one else matters. I saw this when I was in London, and I was actually going to go on this thing. That big purple circle is what's called the London Eye. It's basically it's like a big Ferris wheel, right? It's actually really not that big. It looks bigger in the photo than it is in real life. but that's the London Eye, and you can see that they lit it up at night to glow purple for Holocaust Remembrance Day, which was 27 January. And I'm thinking, hey, did anyone else die in World War II? Well, apparently not, right? Apparently not. So I said I was going to go on that Ferris wheel thing because I thought, oh, that'd be cool to be like, one, it wasn't that big, and two, it was like 39 British pounds. And I'm like, really, like $40? Actually, 39 British pounds is probably like $45. I'm like, I'm not paying $45 to ride in the fucking Ferris wheel. That's crazy. There's no Ferris wheel ride, I don't think, in the world that's worth $45. But that's what they were doing. That is one of the things that they were doing. So what? All right. What else? So we beat up on Elon and the Holocaust. So, and that after, listen, that just runs every fucking thing. On one day, I don't remember which day it was. Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. Oh, by the way, English breakfast sausage sucks. And what the fuck are those, Cumberland? They have another type of sausage that looks like a bratwurst. They're called Cumberlands. Also sucks. Just their bacon is good. I'll give them this. Their bacon is good. Their ham is okay. But you will be so spiritually broken by English breakfast sausage or the Cumberland sausages. You will. I don't know if some of you will ever recover. Just fair warning. Just fair warning. So what am I going to talk about next? Oh yeah, this. I went to the National Gallery. By the way, the British Museum is free, although you have to pass through a metal detector. British Museum is free. I didn't even go through that whole building. Like I did not go to the Asia part and I did not go to the Americas part, but it is mind blowing how much stuff is in there. It's like fucking mind blowing how much stuff that they fucking stole. It's incredible. Even the Egyptian wing, there's things like giant fucking basalt columns that are like, I don't know, like 30 fucking feet high with the head of a pharaoh on top. And the head of the pharaoh is like the size of a fucking minivan. And it's right in the center of these big fucking rooms, these big halls. And that was absolutely wild. So the Rosetta Stone, which you can tell because everyone's on this side of the Rosetta Stone taking pictures of it. It's of course it's surrounded by it, it's covered in whatever glass or Lexan or whatever the fuck it is. But they have the actual Rosetta Stone there. The Egypt wing was fucking wild. The funniest thing as I'm walking through though is there were a number of Cat Williams followers. There was a number of Cat Williams followers who were sitting dejectedly as they were looking at the sarcophagi and all of these giant heads of pharaohs that did not look. They did not have that distinctive nose that these people expected them to have. And so literally like an entire family of 5 just sitting there like, and I couldn't help but chuckle as I walked by. They went in there thinking we was Kangs, and then they found out they was not. But that doesn't mean that England doesn't love their people. On Saturday, I went to the National Gallery where they actually have what's called a Da Vinci cartoon. So it's a sketch on paper that Da Vinci did, a real Leonardo da Vinci sketch that they have in a separate room. I'm trying to think of it. It's like room number 9 on level 1. It's a separate darkened room because light damages the paper. So you have to sort of like go in this it's relatively small room, and you have to give your eyes some time to adjust. So a lot of the National Gallery had a lot of Renaissance stuff, tons and tons of Renaissance stuff. So a lot of Rubens paintings, a lot of Titian paintings, and some other stuff. Some other people I don't recognize, but Rubens I knew of, Titian I knew of. Just mind blowing, like crazy. But everything is actually behind. They put, I guess, plexiglass over the painting so that nobody comes and throws soup on it or paint or some stupid shit like these jerk activists like to do. These fucking mentally ill retards. You know, like I said, to get into the British Museum, you got to pass through a metal detector, which they have in a little, oh, I don't know, like a trailer or something outside of the building. The National Gallery did not have that, although there were two entrances. There's a paid entrance where you get in quicker, and then there's the walk up the steps entrance. But it doesn't make what difference does it make? But I guess some people like to feel I don't know, exclusive. Outside the National Gallery, there's a bunch of things were going on. One, well, let's talk about this. There's this dude, and I don't remember the guy's name, but you know, I just said that the Dindus were at the British Museum were absolutely depressed that they found out that they was not kings. But what you're looking at is you're looking at a black guy up on a pedestal. That statue is, I want to say, like 12 to 14 feet high. And there's another dude behind him that I don't know who the guy is. But I looked at the bronze plaque below the column, and that black guy is someone who's like a Christian preacher from Malawi in 1912. So I don't know when that statue went up there, but it was in the early part of the century. This was way before the civil rights thing. Okay, so there was a law in Malawi that black people could not wear hats in the presence of white people. I know you're thinking that's pretty fucking stupid, but hey, that's how you run colonies, right? So anyway, this guy's a Christian preacher. He doesn't want to obey the take off your hat around white people rule. So he's like agitating. He's just going to wear the hat or whatever. Back then, communication, I guess, between the bankers and their servants in the colonies, not so good. Long story short, they shot the guy, killed him, and burned his church down. But they made a giant statue of him and put him in front of the National Gallery. And I can't remember the guy's name, but the country was Malawi, and I don't know what the fuck they were extracting from Malawi back in 1912. But I looked at that and I was like, you know what? The promotion of the dark races goes way, 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 way back. Because I guarantee the bankers are like, listen, if this guy's got that kind of balls, we can use him to fucking extract more stuff from the locals. We can, you know, we can use a leader of that community for our purposes. But the guys running Malawi, the police and the courts or whatever, just said, fuck it, let's shoot the guy and burn his church, which they did. So that was very, very very instructional, because I just looked at that and I thought, you know, this is where, like, the civil rights thing, all of that started over there in England and then came out here later. You know what I mean? It just came. That's just the way it is. All right. So Elon's a junkie. Holocaust. Blah 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 blah. Black dude on the big column. But continue down this road. At the National Gallery on that day, there was I don't know the picture of it. There's another taller column with 4 beautiful bronze lions around it. There was a protest. It was the ULEZ protest. I didn't know what ULEZ was, but what ULEZ is ultra low emissions zone. And I saw a guy with a classic dirt bike. It was actually a Yamaha dirt bike from the 1980s. And I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I started thinking about all the dirt bikers in Philly and New York and stuff. And I'm like, what? So I'm chatting the guy up. As a, you know, he's a motorcycle guy. I'm a motorcycle guy. Blah 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 blah. Back and forth. So the ultra low emission zone is not only have they lowered the speed limits within the city of London 20 miles an hour for everybody, you cannot go faster than 20, and they have speed cameras everywhere. But with their network of video cameras, they want the carbon emissions, ultra low emissions is going to be enforced by these video cameras looking at your number plate and finding you or revoking your license or whatever. And so all these guys there's a whole bunch of people that were protesting, and the police were out there to watch the protest, but it was all very civilized. But the protesters were very well organized with their banners and their placards and the blah 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 blah. But they're gonna fucking lose this. You know what I mean? When you think about the fact that the communists, the Bolsheviks in Russia, with their ideas about agriculture, about communist agriculture, caused not one, not two, but 3 famines inside Russia during their reign. It makes this thing. I got a video here where in the West, right here in the good old U.S. of A., they're doing a very, very similar thing. And when I want you to think about elite fucking morons who just keep smashing at the fucking base of the very civilization that gives them all of their material wealth.
As of this date, we will expect no more diesel vehicles to be able to operate internal combustion engines, actually, which includes natural gas, propane, gasoline. The state has its marching orders relative to protecting public health and also decreasing greenhouse gas. You have to have zero emission trucks. That's where the priorities are. The trucks right now are pushing $500,000 for a battery electric vehicle. The truck, while it has its challenges relative to cost, overall range, the total weight of the vehicle, the time it takes to fuel it, the truck is really not the hardest part of the equation.
How many of these stations are needed to get something like this going?
They would need 157,000 chargers, and the timelines that the state is trying to implement don't line up with reality. In the ports of LA and Long Beach alone, you have 14,000 trucks that are pretty much regularly doing business down there. Right now online, there's probably about 40 to 50 chargers that are available, and there's really only 2 that are actually public.
So this is the high-tech version of communist agriculture, right? So California is going to go zero emission for trucks with the port of LA and all this stuff. And I don't know how the fuck they think they're going to do this, but it's going to be a mega fucking disaster. It's not going to happen. I think they have until 2035, like 10 or 12 years, but there is just no fucking way this is going to happen. It's all going to crash. It's all going to get fucked up, and it's all going to come from the top. Oh, I forgot to show this video. Here's what I forgot to show. You're thinking, I realize that I beat up on Elon Musk probably more than I should, and I should give Elon a chance at least to push back against my anti-Elon Musk propaganda. I meant to click on this earlier, but I got distracted. Here, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive to the STFU James channel. Elon Musk has a message for all of you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elon Musk. Tesla, very cool. I love you guys. Wow.
So, maybe I was wrong about the guy. He's obviously, he's a big fan of his own products. Tesla, very cool. And maybe he does love you guys, I don't know. But that's Elon Musk. So again, exclusive video that you will only find on this channel. What else do we got? Thames River, Speaker's Corner. All right, yeah, I'll mention on Sunday I went to Speaker's Corner, which turns out is way overrated. A lot of stupid brown people there. I got a 46-second video of a dude. When I first started engaging with this guy, I didn't see his hat right away, but a couple of things that I've mentioned in the past about why things are the way they are, and why things put up high, like a Negro on like a Malawian Christian fucking dude who the regime popped in the fucking head for getting uppity. You know, they put a cap in his dome. A lot of that comes from a lot of symbolic stuff, but then they're gonna raise him up on high over everything. So here's a 40-second video I made of the famous Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, London.
All right, this is Speaker's Corner on Sunday. That guy standing on the ladder there, he pretends to be a Christian. He's a Zionist. You can see the Israeli flag there. He's wearing a hat that has a U.S. flag and the Israeli flag mixed. He's a total Zionist tool. And there's a couple others around here like that. I was here earlier. These people really don't like my style of argumentation. Basically, like every fucking pussy on the fucking internet, they expect you to ask a question and then they're going to speak nonstop for 20 minutes and you're going to just agree with them. I don't think they really understand the concept of free speech and pushing back. But let's get in the mix and see what happens.
So that was after my like whatever $30 fucking fish and chips lunch. And the coolest dude there was, as the camera panned back and forth, there was one red flag there. It turns out the red flag had a golden eagle, a Persian style golden eagle on the red flag. Dude put the flag up. His name was Cyrus. He was named after Cyrus the Great. I ended up having the best conversation with him, this Persian guy, about Cyrus and Alexander and the Greek invasion of Persia, and it was like the absolute best conversation. And he was the coolest fucking dude. He was not offended. He was knowledgeable about the subject, and what marred it was all these stupid brown people who know fuck all about history asking the dumbest fucking questions. And I am of the opinion that there are such things as dumb questions. They say there's no such thing as dumb questions, but trust me, bros, there is such a thing as dumb fucking questions. So I did not care for the ignorant brown people that you have to fucking explain everything to. And but the Zionist dude up on the ladder, I've mentioned things that they put up higher than you, so you tilt your head up and you're like in a position like children are when they look up at their parents. That this physical position puts you in a mental state that is uncritical, and where someone dictates to you. This guy brought a ladder. He brought a bunch of placards and stuff. That Israeli flag wasn't there when I first started debating with him, and he was like, "You hate women, you hate black people, blah 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 blah." I was like, "There's things." And as I once I started calling him a Zionist and a racist and a racial supremacist, he climbed up on the ladder real fast and like pretended I wasn't there, like started to try to engage with other people. But the give and take of the crowd is not there. They're not super interactive. There was some white dude who I would have fucking cast as like, he looked like Hollywood Central casting for like a crusader going into the Holy Land kind of thing. Blonde dude, fucking great look with his fucking beard and shit. But it was him and some muzzy guy, and they're doing red team, blue team with Christianity and Islam. That's what they were doing. You know what I mean? It was red team, blue team, but not Tory versus conservative or Labor versus whatever the fuck they were, whatever else is over there in England. It wasn't like that. It's Christian versus Muslim. And these guys got heated. Like they were chest to chest. They're pointing at each other like this, like raising their right hand, and they're not quite punching, but it implies that, and they're getting face to face, and the crowd's like separating them. And everybody's got a fucking their iPhone on a stick, and they're filming everything. Whatever. That was like the most action in Hyde Park. Then I walked away because actually, I'll tell you what was good in England. I had an ice cream cone in Hyde Park. The ice cream was good. The ice cream was actually pretty good. But Hyde Park, gorgeous. They have bicycle paths. They have horse paths. I see people riding horses, and you got a lot of people jogging. I didn't see any sort of, well, a lot of runners. The horse people. There's a lake there where you can rent paddle boats. Nobody was doing that in January, but you could if you wanted to do it. Get in those like plastic paddle boats. That's like where you pedal them like a bicycle and you go out on the water. The Knightsbridge neighborhood is nearby there, which is very high end. What else was there? A lot of nice statuary, tons of great statues in the area. Here is the Achilles statue. So many things in London, like I said, are very neoclassical, are very Greco-Roman. It's in the architecture. It's in a ton of things. The Wellington Gate, like I said earlier, is I don't know if it's the same size as the Brandenburg Gate, but somebody said it was modeled after the Brandenburg Gate. I don't know how big the Brandenburg Gate really is, but a lot of shit. The whole Euro thing between Athens and London. These cities are pretty small relative to what I'm accustomed to, and I'm accustomed to New York City. So I've said it before, my scale of things is not normal. You know what I mean? So if you're from some little town in Pennsylvania, it's like, these places look big and sophisticated and cool. And I'm like, wow, holy crap, this is right near there. This is right over there. Like once you figure out that everything's right on top of each other, you just don't know how to get from point A to point B, then you're, but then it's time to leave the country anyway. So after the National Gallery, I walked down away from the ULEZ protest towards Whitehall and what's the cathedral, Westminster Abbey or whatever, which I didn't go into church, but I looked at Whitehall. The ULEZ protest went down there. They're screaming, "Get rid of Khan!" That guy, the guy who's hooked up with Infosys, that's involved in bombing the shit out of Gaza right now. And he's the current mayor of London. So they went down and they protested, and they have their bullet points and shit. And the police were out, monitoring them, but nothing really happened. And I'm across the street. There was a dude with the WEF banner, right? And he's like a big older guy, bearded, like looked like a biker dude. Turns out half the people in London own or ride motorbikes. But so I started talking. I said, okay, this guy's like end the World Economic Forum. So I said, all right, maybe I can talk to this guy. I was like, the only way you're going to do that is with Bitcoin, blah, 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 this and that. And he goes, oh, yeah, totally. He said, that's why I have XRP. I was like, XRP, it's a shitcoin, Ripple. He's like, oh, no, I made a ton of money on it. So, and he was lying through his teeth. So I try to talk to the guy, but nobody's getting this. Like nobody's getting the financial aspect of this. No one's talking about economics. You're either delusional or you're cowardly, and that's just the way it is. Like I'm not angry at people for being that way, but that's the way they are. And behind Whitehall is another park called St. James Park, which is a lovely park. And I was walking. There's like have these traffic bollards, so you can't trickle down, but you can walk down the street to go from the front of Whitehall through like a through street to St. James Park. And I saw another group. This was an Iranian group. They had 3 tents set up, and they had their propaganda, like I don't know what they would call it. They're like giant placards, And so, and they wanted the British Parliament to declare the Iranian Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization, which they might have already done that, but whatever. Basically, what they were trying to do is like they had a whole bunch of propaganda materials and their tents and stuff, trying to convince England to go to war with Iran, kill their perceived enemies, and then hand the country to them. Basically, that's what they were on about. And there was one very well dressed, lovely. She had good manners and stuff, and was very well spoken. Iranian woman, 30s ish. There was a man about the same age, and then it was an older dude. And she wanted to engage with me. So, and I'm trying to be as polite as I can be, but I'm asking, why should white British boys go to your country, kill the people you say are bad, and then hand you the keys to the fucking country? Why would they do that? Like, why don't you go fight yourself? Like, honey, you're all this girl power shit. Why don't you lace up your fucking boots? You know what I mean? Get some body armor, pick up a fucking long gun, and go there and free your fucking country. And she's like, hamina this and that, and she's dancing around. She's saying a bunch of dumb shit, and I'm like, listen, all civilization is Western civilization. And this fucking blew her mind. Oh, what about India? This and that. I said, fuck you. I said, India has a caste system with people at the bottom called the untouchables. Do you think they voted to be the untouchable class? And she's like, no, India is super civilized, this and that. I said, well, how come you're here in London and you're not in India? And that was it, like, boom, circuits blown. She just walked away, and they're like, then the older guy comes up to me and says, hey, this has gotten off the topic of why won't Parliament designate the Iranian Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization? And I'm like, yeah, buddy, I'm trying to be polite. You know what I mean? Like, this is me trying to be polite, but these people, they couldn't take some mild disagreement with a fence protecting them, but they think that they're going to, I don't know, take over their country and run it after, of course, the British Army goes in and kills the IRGC. Delusional fucking people. Wankers, right? The title of the stream is Bankers and Wankers. And I did, in fact, meet a fair number of wankers. So, of which there are many, many all around the world. The UK, not exactly a Bitcoin friendly place, even though the NWF guy, thought he was slick, was not. Here's a story that the police seized $1.4 billion of Bitcoin from China investment group. So yeah, this is the only way England is going to get any Bitcoin. It now has $1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they're not the only ones. The cantillionaires and those who have used violence to extract value from others, or their go-to is always going to be what has worked in the past. Here's another European country. German police seized $2.17 billion in Bitcoin in most extensive action ever. So apparently there was some scammer dudes running a website or whatever. They had a lot of Bitcoin. German police grabbed them up, and they just gave it up. They gave up their private keys, transferred the Bitcoin to the German government. I don't know why the fuck they did that, because the Germans are going to put them underneath the fucking prison and probably have them shanked to boot. Why would you give it up? Like, at least Sam Bankman-Fried tried to fucking negotiate a lighter sentence with giving up some of the fucking money. These guys just like, yo, here, take it. That was really fucking unwise. I would have told the German government or German police to go fuck themselves. But these guys, I don't know. Most of these people are not as hard as they think they are. They're not as smart as they think they are. And it's very different when you're alone in that fucking room than you think it is. It's not so easy to make good decisions then. And a lot of people make really bad decisions. However, you can make different decisions. The Chinese, who've had all sorts of troubles in the past, it says, battered by stock market, Chinese rush into banned Bitcoin. So Chinese people with money, knowing that their markets are in trouble, are trying to get the fuck out of their market and get it to something safe. And they're not the only ones. Everyone's favorite. Well, what is this one? Hold on. What is this? I'll get to that one later. Okay, everyone's favorite central banker, Jerome Powell, comes clean and finally says that the U.S. is on an unsustainable fiscal path. Oh, do tell, Mr. Powell, do tell. And what I have circled there, it's hard for me to see because it's too fucking small, too far away, is, but I read it earlier. The debt is growing faster than the economy. And now Jerome Powell has said the quiet part out loud. That's going to lead to the one I just showed. That's going to lead to the one I just showed. This is a great story about a real education. It says, this Nigerian professor who makes more money welding. This guy's a professor by day and a welder by night. And he makes a lot more money joining two pieces of metal together than doing whatever intellectual academic bullshit he does otherwise, right? It's a fair criticism to say nothing in academia has stopped, or even slowed down the degradation of our society and culture. You can read Shakespeare all you want. You can listen to fucking La Traviata or whatever. Like, it's not going to change the fact that the money is dying and people are going to freak the fuck out. And the way to fix shit is to fix the fucking money. Then you can build beautiful things. Then you can have the culture you want to have. But until you control the medium of exchange, the way value is exchanged, other people are in charge of the shit, and you're as delusional as the Iranian people on the side of Whitehall or anyone else. You're not dealing with reality. And the government in the US and in the UK and around the Western world, they are run by stupid communists who are going to run shit into the ground. I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow, if it's going to happen 10 years from now or 25 years from now, but it would be really fucking smart of you to see that and then take some sort of appropriate action, like the fucking Chinese. One of the last screen shares I have, this is a quote. I had this on my phone for I don't know how fucking long ago. I save things and then I forget that I saved them. But this is a quote from James A. Garfield. Whoever controls the volume of money in our country is absolute master of all industry and commerce. When you realize that the entire system is very easily controlled one way or another by a few powerful people at the top, you will not have to be told how periods of inflation and depression originate. This is a quote by James A. Garfield 2 weeks before he was assassinated. I don't know how much clearer I can make this. The leadership of the Goy, when they get out of line, when they say the wrong thing, tend to catch hot lead. If you defy the regime in the colonies of Malawi, you're going to catch hot lead. For the people thinking that Hitler's going to come back from the dead and rescue you and make the Jews swim back to make the Africans swim back to blacks swim back to Africa with a Jew strapped to their back or whatever, like, that's not going to happen, right? Anybody who dares to go against this system gets crushed. Any individual, Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi, James Garfield, Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy. Are you getting the pattern now? Can you sort of see it? And the German government grabbing people and seizing their Bitcoin, and the UK government grabbing people and seizing their Bitcoin. There's a reason why they're doing this, okay? And it's not because they're really, really interested in law enforcement and they want to get the money back to people that they think were scammed or whatever. That's not it. Here's in America, they don't know what the fuck to do because Bitcoin's legal and considered private property. The Biden administration is now saying that the crypto mines, meaning Bitcoin mines, will now have to report their energy use or else. So if you're mining Bitcoin in the US, you have to report how much energy you use. So I guess, I don't know, they're going to figure out how much Bitcoin you really have. Well, you know, if you don't want, if you're not like those dumb fucking German criminals, or criminals in Germany, I don't think they were native Germans, and you don't fucking give it up. So what? And by the way, that reporting requirement is so fucking unconstitutional. Tesla owners don't have to report to the government. You know what I mean? How much electricity they use for their cars, right? All these other fucking industries don't have to report to the government. So whatever mandate or regulation that they fucking come up with is going to be smacked down fairly quickly. They're going to lose that one in court real fast. But all of this is happening for a reason. Jerome Powell says we're on an unsustainable path. He has said the quiet part out loud. He said the quiet part out loud. You know, that's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. The debt is growing faster than the economy. Oops, this is a problem. So, you know, when we reach the tipping point, you know, I don't know when that's going to happen, but it most definitely will happen. It's not just the fucking delusional ravings of some fucking 50-something-year-old guy in a one-bedroom apartment in New Jersey. That's explicitly, exactly stated by the chairman of the Federal Reserve. You should be smarter than you have been so far, and start thinking about ways that you can sidestep every fucking ugly thing that is definitely coming. Whether that means you learn you go to fucking welding school, or you know you do something else, but you want to think long and hard about how it is you're going to face the future, and that oh shit fuck, that's right. Work wise, the other thing about work, work, food, I got so much shit to talk about. The last year, the reason why I didn't travel last year, I would have had 3 vacations under my belt instead of just 2, was I bought that stupid cargo van. The manager, the guy named Mike, who convinced me to buy that van, got fired. Just found out this guy was fired, and another manager, a Colombian guy named Nick, also got fired. 2 really shitty fucking managers who were fucking weasels. Nick would like constantly fucking threaten you, but he wouldn't do it on the company phones. He would call you on his personal phone. It was like always threatening, always trying to intimidate fucking people. And Mike was just a fucking lying fucking scum weasel. So both of those guys got fired. And then somehow I got on this do not use list. And I thought those 2 things were related, but it has to do with some TSA certification I had that slipped. You have to go take this test online, which I did over the weekend, but they can't change the system until Monday, which was today. And I got a text from the new manager, who was my old dispatcher a couple of years ago, a guy named Jonathan, Guyanese kid, loves me to fucking death. Everything's good to go, so tomorrow I go back to work. No electronic barriers to entry. which, by the way, the hotel I stayed at in London, all keypad entry to the one building, and then you were like, there was like the one building where it was the front desk, and then you go through that, down some stairs into a courtyard, into another small building in the back, and then up 4 flights of stairs, because it's Europe and you got to walk upstairs, walk up a windy, but it's England, so they're not even full flights of stairs, like 3/4 flights of stairs. And then keypad entry to your door. So everything, all this access control, all this keypad entry stuff, I saw that when I walked around Camden Town and other places. I kept looking at how do you get in that gate? How do you get in that gate? And a lot of keypads, a lot of electronic locks all over the place. And I said that's the future in the U.S. It's the present in London. Even in areas that didn't look super nice, like I don't know what they call them. They call them council homes or something. They look like the projects. I don't know. They have the English have a different word. Council estates. I can't remember. I'm not that English. You know what I mean? I'm somewhat English, but not that English. But yeah, for me, 2 people I really did not like and were really not good people got fired this year, got fired this fucking week. So that makes me happy. And I got to go out of the country again, and that was fun. Even though the food was not great, I'm very happy to be back in the US. I'm very happy to be back in the USSA. And what are we at? We're at 1 hour and 16. So I think I got everything right. Yeah, I don't think there's nothing I have. But yeah, things are looking pretty good. All in all, things are looking up for me, and hopefully they're looking up for you. If you think about things correctly, if you make the right decisions, you're going to be in a better position. You're going to be in a better position. What else? One last video, because you have doubts, you have questions like, here's what I have to say to that.
A lot of our friends and family think that Bitcoin is a gamble. Tell them how it is not a gamble.
Well, I think the biggest gamble by far is taking your time and energy that we only have so much of, and then putting it into a currency that someone else can counterfeit and we have to pay taxes on. I think that's probably the biggest gamble on earth. And I think us Bitcoiners, we can see that very plainly. So I think fiat is truly the evil. Let's just say it. And that's the gamble, where we know Bitcoin is certainty, and it's the opposite of gambling. So it's counterintuitive in a way until you get it, then it becomes very intuitive.
Hopefully you guys get it. I realize that I'm shouting into the void. I realize that most people aren't ready to hear this because it's outside your comfort zone, but you have to hear it. You have to hear it. And what else do you have to do? You have to smash up the like button. There's no point in being here, staying here this entire length of time without smashing up the like button before you leave. So with that, at 1 hour, 18 minutes, we have successfully concluded another overseas adventure. And I will talk to you guys again next week. Thanks for stopping by.